By doing good is the motto of our next guest, who heads A4e, an international organisation operating in 11 countries that specialises in getting people off benefits and back to work. That obviously carries considerable resonance. At the moment, A4e has £300 million of government training contracts and manages 25% of the total budget from the British Department of Work and Pensions. But how is this all about to change? The rules are changing. Emma Harrison is the head of Action for Employment and kindly joins us this afternoon. Emma, the rules seem to be changing slightly. We are seeing the British government effectively saying we will look at a number of other countries and how they've been doing things, and we're going to look at a number of other companies to see how they're going to do things. How safe is your business?
This is fantastic news. It's really, really good news. I mean, for a long, long time I've been trying to ask the government in this country to do something different about the way that we're helping people who are unemployed. The way it's been done, you know, in the past there's been a myriad of programmes going on, sort of like, you know, sort of trying to help people unemployed. There's just been too much, it's too complicated, the costs of it are too much. And this government have been brave enough to announce there'll be a single programme that people can come in to get some help, and then that programme will be individualised to each single person that comes. Are
you big enough to handle that?
Oh yeah, we're the largest in the...
But Serco or someone like that isn't going to see this business coming through to them?
Well, no, I should imagine Serco are going to hope to get some of it, you know, but Serco have only got Manchester, we've got the whole of the UK at the moment,
right.
So we'll see.
So you're quite confident. How big a programme could this ultimately be for your business, and do you think this becomes a model elsewhere? Is this something that...
Yeah, well, we already work in other countries,
sure.
and so I actually think that the UK are going to be ahead of the game worldwide on this if they're brave enough to have this massive reform of the way that we treat welfare, and we will export that around the world as we currently do. So it's big stuff. I mean, you know, I expect my organisation to be turning over, you know, add a few more 100 million on it in the next...
You get paid for every person...
Outcomes.
Precisely.
This is the
critical thing
about it, which I'm so glad at long last, right? We actually do run a programme like that. We have hundreds of millions of pounds worth of contracts already like that, but they're really going for it this time. They're being really brave. So when we get someone into a job and they stay in a job, then we get paid, and I'm really happy to be paid.
So how does your cash flow? I presume you've got to have a very good relationship with your banks.
Yes, but you know, we're an organic growth. We don't do acquisition. We're all owned by ourselves. We're, you know, in a very good position to do this thing.
How much institutional pushback do you think you'll get? The employment of institutional pushback from within government. Do you think putting people back into work, employing people, is something that has traditionally been done in governments? A lot of it. And
you know what, Guy? I'm really sorry to say, but you're way out of date.
Okay, no. Okay.
It's way out of date. This work has been done by the private sector and the third sector and the voluntary sector for a long, long time now. You're thinking of the job centres. The job centres.
That's what I mean. Okay.
The job centres, they do the signing on, they pay the benefits, and they deal with people who are short-term unemployed, right? We're talking about long-term unemployment here. We're talking about people who are really struggling to get back into work. That's what these new contracts are about.
My question really was, do you think that sort of thing is going to change?
No, absolutely not. I think that you'll find that it's even changing more. At the moment, my organisation deals with people who are 12 months unemployed, yeah? They're bringing it right forward to 6 months and even 0 months for the really people who are having real big problems.
Who supplies these jobs? I mean, where are these jobs coming from? I mean, surely with the sort of lax immigration rules in this country, that, you know, unless these people are prepared to work for possibly less than their social benefits, where are the jobs coming from? I mean,
this is what I do, and this is one of the myths, isn't it? So we can find jobs for people. The jobs are out there. So, for example, we have big contracts with all the big employers, and they will take people who are long-term unemployed, but we train them, we sort them out, we do all the bits of work to get them there. And you know where the other jobs are coming from? The SMEs, the small, medium enterprises. Those are the big headline figures you don't see on the news.
All the companies that come and sit in the chair that you're sitting at the moment and tell us that they haven't got enough credit, that they're not going to be employing people, that they are worried about the future, about what's going to be happening.
Well, I was just reading some reports from my own organisation. We've got my big board meetings tomorrow, and I think across our organisation in the last week or so, 2,000 people went back to work. So somebody has got the jobs. Maybe you're not hearing about them, but let's talk about where the jobs are, because I know where they are. WH Smith are taking people on, Sainsbury's, John Lewis, they're taking people on.
What about new industries? What about the areas where we're actually going to see growth in Britain?
I've got a really good one I've just found out. So E.ON, for example, have got a contract to carbon sort our houses out, you know.
Carbon?
Sort our houses. Carbon cladding, I think they're calling it. I think the old-fashioned word was insulation, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's probably
anyway,
what we
for
normally
example, they've been to us. They've said, we're going to need hundreds and hundreds of people across the UK doing this piece of work. Will you help us train up long-term unemployed people to do this piece of work? So there are, they're new industries, new jobs, but it's sort of, you know, green jobs they are.
Green jobs with carbon. Excellent. And we're going to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed. Delightful to see you. Emma Harrison joining us from Action for Employment.
Okay. Do you want to ask that very quickly, Richard?
Sure. First of all, could you tell us what your targets were for the mandatory element of the contract?
Well, A4e's targets, the average, because they did vary slightly from different...
Sorry, could you speak up?
Sorry. The average worked out just under 32%.
So 32% of what?
32% of the mandatory starts into work.
I'm sorry, can you explain that more clearly? You're saying that the target was that of those who were within the mandatory cohort,
Yep.
you were to get 32% of them back into work.
Correct, yeah.
And of those whom you were supposed to get back into work, this 32% of the cohort,
Yep.
what did you achieve against that target?
Our cumulative to date, we are on, I think it's just over 15%.
So less than half the actual target.
Yes.
How many contracts do you have, Mr. Marsland?
We have 5 contracts.
You have 5 contracts and you have 3, so it's a total of 8 contracts. And do the percentages for each of the contracts vary? So it might be, for example, 31% for one of them and 32 for another and 29 for a different one.
Marginally, but not, yes, in those sort of, at that level, not hugely.
Right. Mr. Marsland, do you which were your 5 contracts?
We have Cornwall and Devon.
Yeah.
And the target for that was 31.26%.
And what did you achieve?
I think I've only got our actual performance aggregated.
Well, start by listing all 5. You had Cornwall and Devon. What were the other 4? Cornwall and Devon. What were the others?
North and Mid Wales.
North and Mid Wales.
West Yorkshire.
Yeah.
South East Wales.
Yeah.
And Surrey and Sussex.
Surrey and Sussex. Okay. 31.26% for Cornwall and Devon. What about North and Mid Wales? What was the target there?
31.82.
82. What about West Yorkshire?
31.62.
Yeah. And South East Wales?
33.3.
And Surrey, and what was it? Surrey and where?
Surrey and Sussex.
Surrey and Sussex. What was the target there?
Interestingly with Surrey and Sussex, because we actually inherited that contract from a provider that went bust.
Right.
And their target that they put forward was 50%.
What was the provider that went bust called?
Instant Muscle.
Sorry?
Instant Muscle.
Instant Muscle. And they went...
target is 50%.
That was the target that they did.
And you inherited their target?
Yes.
You just took on the contract and agreed at the time you took on the contract that you'd keep their target, or was that just part of the deal
that
you...
was part of the deal. Yes,
Okay.
we did
So-
put forward that was perhaps a little bit
Okay.
stretching.
And for Cornwall and for each of those 5, then you've just given me the target figures. What were the actual achieved figures for each of the 5? Cornwall and Devon.
Bear with me 1 second. We're just talking mandatory, aren't we, at the moment?
Yes.
Surrey and Sussex, 13%.
13.
13. Yeah.
13% against 50% target.
Yeah.
Wasn't very good, was it? What about South East Wales?
South East Wales, 12%. This is cumulative to date.
West Yorkshire?
Somewhere. 14%.
14 against 31 target.
Yeah. And
North and Mid Wales?
North and Mid Wales, 13%.
Yeah.
And Devon and Cornwall, 16%.
Right. So in most cases, less than half what you were supposed to get. Now, Mr. Melvin, you're saying that for those 3 in London and for Cambridge and Suffolk, you don't have those individual figures in the way that Mr. Marsland does.
I don't have the targets, no. I have got...
I'm talking about the actual performance.
I have got the actual...
You've got the actual performance. So what was the actual performance for London South?
The actual performance for London South was 9%. This is
9%?
Yep.
London West,
was 9%,
London North,
was 7%,
and Cambridge and Suffolk.
was 10%.
And that was against an average of a 32% target.
Yeah.
But you can supply us with the individual targets for each of those. Well, if you could write to the committee that'd be very helpful. Right. Well, that's quite illuminating.